Namaste, yogis. I'm Annie Carpenter, and I'm here at yogitoes to talk about and demonstrate a really fun pose using this rDot. So today what I thought we'd do is we'd look at how to use this round block, right, which we call the rDot, as a way of propping the sacrum and the hips as we move into a bridge pose. And then we're going to take it a little bit deeper, take some deep psoas stretches from the bridge pose. And then finally we'll end up with the legs up in a pose that's called Viparita Karani, which is this delicious restorative pose that we like to do at the end of the day. So what you'll do is you'll have your block handy, and you'll lie on your back. And if you got a ponytail, you got to pull it out of the way. And I'm going to say something. I'm going to be turning to face you so I can talk to you, but I would prefer when you do this pose that you keep your face pointing dead ahead. All right, so I'm going to break all the rules. So bring your heels close to your sit bones, drive them down, and you'll figure out what's close enough for you, because if you feel pressure in your knees, then you'll just step your feet slightly out. You'll find the right place. You want to make sure the toes point dead ahead, and the heels pretty much line up with your sit bones. And then go ahead and just push down with the hands and the feet and just start to roll up through the spine. I like to kind of bend my elbows here and drive the upper arm bones and the shoulder heads down. Watch what happens to my neck as I do that. Up. And that way I get up on my shoulders, and that's the shoulder bridge, right? My neck is not touching the floor. And if I wanted to work this pose, I would stay here and work it muscularly. But today I want a little support. So I'm going to grab my dot. Lift up on the toes so you can slip. This is what I love about the dot. You can roll it back and forth until you find just the right place where your sacrum is flat and supported and happy. And then just drive your heels down. And once you get that support, you might even be able to get your bridge higher. And what I mean by that is draw the shoulders further under. So notice that I'm not taking my shoulders down and flattening my neck. I'm drawing them towards one another, and my neck is not touching the floor. So this is supported bridge, or Supta Setu Bandhasana. Okay, you can stay here for a long time. I usually do 3 to 5 minutes. And if you want to get a little more stretch in the front of the hips to enhance your back bending practice, then what you can do is slide one leg out and drive that heel down, roll the inner thigh to the mat. I want you to make sure that the other leg, the bent leg, is hugging inward. Because what you don't want is to let your pelvis angle like a steering wheel off to one side. You want to keep the hips level and square. That way your sacrum will stay happy and safe. Right, and I'm feeling a little stretch here. Now for those of you really bendy people out there, keep this leg internally rotated and firm, and just see if you want to test bringing the opposite knee in. And you'll notice the closer the knee gets towards the chest, the more sensation of stretch you're going to get there in your hip flexors. And some of you really bendy people can start to stretch the leg up. And some of you, I'm not going to go all the way because I don't want to tease anybody, as far as it'll go. You get the idea? Okay, most of us about this or this is plenty. All right, long holds, 2 minutes. 2 minutes, working the legs, inner thighs roll down, roots of the thighs descending towards the hamstrings, spreading through the toes, shoulder bridge very active, you're not just hanging out. And then when you're ready, you lower this foot, come back to bridge, take a few breaths, and then you go right into your second side, same sequence, boom, boom, same amount of time, second side. Right, and then you'll pause, reconnect, get everything symmetrical. And then if you want to do an even more delicious and restorative pose, what you'll do is you walk your feet in, make sure your dot is still in its most comfortable place. Bring one knee up, and then the other. And you'll know right away when you pick both legs up, if you need to adjust that dot, you'll just come down and turn it. It should feel like support so that you can drop your thighs into their sockets. So once you get your dot just where you want it, and then go ahead and take your legs up. Then your heels will balance right over the sit bones. You can spread through the ball mounds of the feet. Most of the weight is resting over the ease. The roundness of the dot makes this really a comfortable pose. The shoulders are well tucked, the bridge is lifted, the face begins to soften, The eyes begin to sink into their sockets. The weight of the thighs begin to sink down, and your belly begins to soften and receive the fluids of the legs as they melt down into the reservoir that is your belly. Your breath will begin to slow down. Your tongue will soften, and your brain will rest. Feel free to take 4, 5, 10 minutes, and then when you're ready to come down, go slow. Slowly bend your knees, one leg at a time, lower and lower. Pause. Feel the transition. Then pushing into your feet, lift your hips up off the dot and simply rotate the dot so it's flat. And lower down. So again, slowly, we're coming about halfway down. Release the shoulders from underneath you. Take a couple of breaths here. This pose, you feel the benefits after rather than during. Right? And once you've had a couple of breaths here, then again, lift up. Move that dot out of the way. Put it off to the side and just lower all the way down. And then place one hand right over your heart. Let the other hand come to rest on your belly. Close your eyes. And just let yourself enjoy the effects of Viparita Karani on that rDot. Namaste.